Chapter 23. Why the process of creation has been kept under wraps. Let's be clear about why so many of those who believe in a God to whom they appeal are upset by the idea of a power that exists inside of everyone that allows us to create our own reality. When we have to go to God, that is, a God who exists outside of us, separated from us, away from us, to get help in time of need or to produce something in our life that we earnestly desire, the presumption is that we have to obey the laws of God in order to receive an affirmative response. We have to be in good standing with God in order for God bless us. We have to be good with God if we want God to be good with us. It is a quid pro quo. We have been taught that God will not bless those who disobey Him or ignore Him or do not come to Him in the right way. Indeed, God will do more than simply fail to bless such people. God will condemn them to eternal damnation. He will cause them to burn in the everlasting fires of hell. Yet if we have the power within us to create what we want, that means we don't have to be good people in order to get it. In short, we don't have to obey the law of God if we can use the energy of attraction and personal creation. This takes the power out of the hands of those who would tell us what the law of God is. The implication of that last sentence are enormous. And they have been throughout human history. Which is why, throughout human history, those who would tell us what the law of God is have arrested those who would tell us that the kingdom of heaven is within and have often killed them. There is one point on which you can expect most of the world's religions to agree. They may not agree on everything, but I can assure you most will agree on this: the power to control your own reality, to be happier than God, to create riches, fame, love and joy in your life, to say nothing of peace on earth, doesn't lie within you, and it is arrogant and spiritually dangerous for you to imagine that it does. God controls your life according to His will, and your job is to obey the will of God, submit to the will of God, do the bidding of God, and, if you want something for yourself, hope and beg and pray that it is God's will that you receive it. There is another threat here as well, as religions sees it. When we go to God for help, or ask Him to create what we earnestly desire, there is no guarantee that God will do it even if we are obeying God's law. Even good people, even wonderful people, have had their prayers go unanswered. And when they ask about this, when they fly to their priests and their rabbis and their ulamas and beg to know, why did God not grant my request? Have I not been a good and faithful servant? They are told, mysterious are the ways of the Lord. Yours is not to question, but to accept. Yet personal creation is said to work without fail. God may say no, but personal creation only say yes. It always produces results. It's simply a matter of what you put your attention to, what you feel most strongly. This is the great threat of personal creation and why it has been kept under wraps. As long as we think that God might say no to any request, we will do whatever we think, or whatever we are told, that it takes to get God say yes. And this is where control is exerted by religions, which tells us what we must do to get a yes from God. Personal creation, on the other hand, responds with a yes to every appeal, and every thought is an appeal, every word is an appeal, every action is an appeal. If this process really works, then extraordinary creative power has been placed in our hands. Way too much creative power, some organized religions feel, for them to continue to be able to justify their dogmas, doctrines, decrees, and decisions. Thus, if you try to create something of your own free will, you may be accused of apostasy, an act of rebellion not unlike the act of Satan, for he, too, religionists tell us, proclaim himself in his hubris to have the power of God, to be equal to God, to be as glorious as God, and for this he was cast out of heaven and condemned to the everlasting torture of separation from the divine, in the company of those wretched enough to be sent to Hades to join him. The true danger of personal creation is that it involves thinking yourself in a new way, and think of God in a new way. These are the two unbelievable things that Jesus of Nazareth invited us to do, and he was crucified for it. Think of yourself in a new way, he said, and think of God in a new way. He didn't say it in those words, but the words he used meant exactly the same thing. And he said other things too, very directly revealing great truth. The ideas that Jesus shared with the people of his time hit his world like a thunderbolt. He went around saying things such as, "Ask, and it shall be given you, seek, and ye shall find, knock, and it shall asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened." This is, of course, exactly what personal creation is about. It is exactly what teacher like Emil County and relevant Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and Harold Sherman were trying to tell us many years ago. It is exactly what Esther and Jerry Hicks are saying today, and have been saying for many years. It is what Wayne Dyer shares with us, and what Conversations with God has articulated in such accessible and exciting ways, and what many teachers and messengers have been inviting us to embrace for hundreds of years. It is true that not all of the messengers who have spoken of personal creation through the year have made it clear that what we are using is the power of God. But Jesus was clear. He said, "What man is there among you whom, if his son ask for bread, he will give him a stone instead? Or if he ask for fish, will he give him a serpent? If even you, being evil, know to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him?" So there is the missing link. As has been noted, some people who hear about personal creation have criticized it, thinking that human beings are being encouraged to rely on themselves and to exclude God. In fact, master messengers are encouraging human beings to rely on themselves and to include God. Yet these critics have a point, for many people have not been told something very important. They have not been told that the energy of attraction is one of the great principles of life, and that these principles are God's process. They have not been told that using the energy of attraction is simply another way of using God. When you understand this process and how it works, you have to worry about nothing. Jesus said this plainly. Shall we revisit his words? So don't go around asking, "What are we to eat?" Or "What shall we drink?" Or "Wherewithal will we clothe ourselves?" Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Aha! Religionists could exclaim, "There it is." Jesus declared point-blank that it was about going to God. So much for going to yourself. Jesus said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God." You can imagine, then, how upsetting it could be to them when they find that Jesus also said, many times, "The kingdom of God is within you."